That was a fantastic opening to SMC Mumbai, and we are going on to much more exciting sessions. So please remain seated as we are starting with our next panel, which is on the burning question of staff retention. For my next panel, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Vikas Marwah. Is Vikas already here? Okay, he's going to join us in a couple of minutes. Can I please have my next speaker on stage, Mr. Rohan Jagtap, founder of Bespoke Salon. Rohan comes with more than 20 years of experience in professional hairdressing. He has worked across various verticals like styling for celebrities, leading editorial shoots, behind the scenes for TVCs and ads, and of course on the salon floor and curating hair collections. Driven by passion, Rohan Jagtap aims to share technical and artistic knowledge with hairdressing community as the L'Oreal Professional, Artistic and Education Ambassador. Thank you so much for joining us today. Rohan, please step on the stage. Can we have a round of applause for Rohan, please? Thank you. My next speaker is Dr. Vandana Bhardwaj, originally from Himachal Pradesh and currently based in Mumbai. Vandana is the director and spokesperson of Marie Claire B2C Network LLP. She holds a double PhD degree in her expertise or as a social worker. Her accomplishments include the Most Premium Salon of the Year Award, Influencer of the Year Award, Mumbai Entrepreneur Award, Maharashtra Puraskar and Karamveer Puraskar, as well as the Hindustani Pillar Award. She is also the founder of the NGO My Helping Hands, dedicated to the welfare of children and animals. Under her production house, Accolade Entertainment, Vandana has released 3 songs till date. Can we have a round of applause for Dr. Vandana Bhardwaj? I would like to welcome back on stage Qurat Syed Deshmukh. Thank you so much for being a part of this panel as well. Kindly step on the stage. My next speaker is Disha Mehr, founder and principal consultant, 5 Elements Consultancies. Disha brings with her over 2 decades of deep-rooted experience in the beauty and wellness industry, to her role as a distinguished panelist at the Salon Management Conference. As the founder of 5 Elements Consultancies, she has excelled in propelling the beauty businesses towards peak performance through innovative strategies and robust training programs. Her approach towards today's panel discussion combines practical solutions with strategic foresight to enhance employee satisfaction and retention, essential for protecting salons from the challenges of staff poaching. And my final panelist, who's going to join us shortly, is Mr. Vikas Marwah, who is a brand unto himself. A trendsetter with a league and legacy of his own, Vikas's inspiring journey and his strong foundation in teaching and attention to detail is a creative force in the hair education arena. He is well renowned for his innovative and advanced cutting and coloring techniques. Founder of the Vikas Marwah Hair Salons, Vikas is an award-winning celebrity stylist, an educator, and a leader with a passion of hair and the salon business. Thank you so much for joining us today. Can we have a round of applause for all our speakers? So our topic for this panel discussion is staff retention. We touched upon it a little bit in our previous panel, and it's something that all salon owners face. So let's start with having a reverse situation in mind. Rohan, beginning with you, if you could tell us what happens when salons start poaching.
Well, I mean, I think everyone's audible, right?
Yes.
Very good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Kanishka, for having us here. The question is about the team poaching that is happening. It's a very sensitive issue in general. What I firmly believe is that that the time when any of these circumstances happen, I believe any brand, for that matter, heavily relies on their team members, and under these circumstances, it kind of shifts the balance drastically. You're largely depending on the manpower that you deal with. It definitely shakes you up a lot, especially when you have a chain of salons. Probably you can sort of maneuver the manpower from one point A to point B, but when it's a single door and it's a limited skill set, then probably it's even more difficult to kind of deal with that then.
Yes. But what happens when you as a salon start poaching? Why is it bad for your salon's reputation and work culture?
Well, to be very honest, I firmly believe that like every individual or every artist has the opportunity to kind of venture out and feel free to try different things at their convenience. The most important part here is we need not to kind of poach anybody. It's to kind of create your own talent, cultivate that within the team, and continue doing that. So that's probably how you can have your internal talent growing, and hence you probably don't need to poach. But when you do that, obviously it's going to impact largely on the industry, and maybe what you probably would suffer at one point in time, the other salons would suffer at the same time then.
Exactly. Vandana, what would you like to add to this? Why is poaching bad like either ways?
I think poaching word itself is very fishy. I guess it's a very short-term goal. One should not, if you want to create a goodwill and image of your own single salon as well, one should not think of poaching as you know what you are capable of, what is your image, how you want to be for 5 years or whatever years down the line. So you have to, first thing is you have to create your goodwill. And when you are creating your goodwill, I don't think poaching is the right thing to do. It's just a short-term goal and it will definitely hamper your image. So I think people should stay, salon owners should stay away from all this.
Right. And how does it affect you when you get poached? When your staff leaves in an exodus?
Well, as a brand, it is not difficult because we have academies, we have multiple salons, we can do the shifts and all. And usually ours, we make sure that our salon staff stays with us. We provide as much as trainings, workshops, educational benefits are extremely good. So we don't get into all this because we know what we are putting on the table.
Right. Qurat, coming to you, what challenges do you have when it comes to poaching?
So, see, being there for 18 years in this industry, I would say that poaching happens only to the new people coming in. The old staff that we have for the past 18 years, 15 years, they are so comfortable, and one person is into their comfort zone. It's very difficult to break them.
Right.
So, poaching does happen, and it has recently started in Bombay, I would say. Previously, it never used to happen with too many brands coming in. I was very happy back then, but now there are too many competitors coming in, and this happens, with new competitors, new people opening up salons. They themselves don't have the experience. What they do is they open the salon, बोले ना दूसरे स्टाइलिस्ट के कंधे पे बंदूक रखकर, basically कि
Yeah.
if I will get this guy, so my salon is going to run. So definitely now that is a short term growth, because he was comfortable with a particular salon. He was working there for so many years. You've given him a better, the way of poaching, like everybody knows what happens. They get good amount.
Packages, yeah.
It's not just salary, but it's a different style nowadays. So that's what is happening. But then again, it's a short term thing. He'll be there for you. He'll give you the service for a few years, maybe just to satisfy some bit of his life. Okay, okay, fine, I manage. But then I don't think they really stay that long. What I have faced that after a few years they come back. Like, forget this. I've had stylists going to Dubai and Singapore and God knows where not, and then coming back after 1 or 2 years again. So now they are not getting satisfied there also. Can't say, these people are very confusing, I say.
Disha, as a educator and trainer, what is your opinion about this shift of staff from one salon to another?
Good afternoon, everybody. Definitely not a very pleasant experience for any salon, right? Because they put in a lot of effort, and coming from an education background, I know how much effort a salon puts in for training them, creating what they are. They are internal brands within the salon, right? Everybody comes in with that particular person, wants to get a service. The only thing is, I would say, yes, maybe, there is something that we have to zoom out a little bit from poaching and understand why is it happening, right? And that is, I think, something which is very critical. It is going to happen. It was happening, ma'am. It was happening many years back also. So it's not a very new phenomena across the country, but I think there is something which needs a deep-rooted thought here. That's all I can say.
Thank you. Vikas, can we please have you on stage? Yes, so we'll directly jump to you with the question. How is poaching harmful for in both scenarios, when you are poaching and when you are being poached?
See, I believe there are a lot of positive side to it, and there is also a negative side
There are
to it.
positive sides to poaching.
Yeah. The positive sides of poaching is you're getting someone who's already experienced,
Okay.
who's already talented, who knows the skill set. He doesn't need education because he's already trained. So your time of training and your time of putting efforts for training is lesser. Plus, the another positive side to this is that every stylist or a beautician has their own clientele,
Right.
which everyone has their own fan following. So when they join another organization, the positive side being you're also getting a little bit of their clientele. That comes the positive side. The negative side being that it hampers your reputation. It creates because you're working in the same industry, so your competitor might not be very comfortable because you're poaching people. Plus, if the stylist or beautician is already in contract with somebody and they're coming to you, then there could be legal issues, small time issues being. So I believe there is a plus to it also, and there is a minus to it, that you are working in a culture where we all want to collaborate and work together, and which hampers the reputation of the salon or the business that, I picked up somebody from another organization. Plus, we also need to understand that when the person is leaving that company, that person can leave us also. Then there is a loyalty issue clashing again. Now, money cannot buy loyalty. So we need to understand why that person left the organization for the first place and joining to us. It could be, people today working are not just working for money. They also want, the quality of work, the culture of work that you provide, which can also help you retain your existing staff. So that's what I believe. To keep them happy and to sustain them, a lot of efforts from the organization also needs to be taken care of. Yeah, poaching has a lot of. I have never poached anybody. So being a small-time entrepreneur, people come to us, join us because they want to learn more.
Right.
They want to grow with us. So the maximum people who join us is people who are willing to learn the skill set of cutting, styling, coloring, and all the salon services. But yes, I understand people who have chains of salons, they might need to poach people. So the best part being, when you're poaching somebody, you're already getting somebody who's experienced.
Right.
So there is where you save your time.
Thank you, Vikas. Coming to you, Rohan, if we take poaching out of the equation, people still leave. Your
Yeah.
staff still leaves you. So what is the best ways to ensure that they don't?
When this topic was put across to me about coaching and how to retain your staff, I think the categorically 3 points came to my mind. Just as Vikas said, I broadly put it down to say that, the first being, is the team member, is the staff, or is the hairstylist or an artist, is he happy at the current working place? First is that. Now that involves a lot of aspects. Is the proximity to the workplace, is the working hours, is the colleague, is the clientele, my senior, my subordinates, is the place hygienic, is it clean? Am I being happy being there? It's like probably if you reflect back upon what are those places that actually make you happy. Going to college every morning makes you happy, so you would willingly come there. So when the team member feels that, I mean, half of your job is done. To create a happy environment is the first thing. I don't really take away anything from the monetary benefits that they get, so that's my second point. they should be compensated, and they should be rewarded, and they should be appreciated timely basis. So but that's one part probably as an artist or as an entrepreneur I would not never miss out on. And third being a simple growth, because uh, having compensated well throughout your career, and it's in a happy environment, but when you probably don't get the growth enough, like say, am I being paid well? Yes. Am I happy here? Yes. But what am I? Am I growing any further? If no, then probably you start asking those questions to yourself. Now, those questions can come from any artist, any hairdresser, any makeup artist, any esthetician. Anybody can have those questions. So, growth becomes also an essential part for their retention to be there in the same environment. So I just feel like these 3 points, broadly put together, if they're happy, if they're monetarily satisfied, and if there is enough growth offered to them.
Right. Vandana.
I feel one line of communication is extremely important. The kind of connection the owner has with the staff holds a lot of value. They should have the trust in each other. The loyalty matters. There should not be any grievances, and it should be discussed simply with the straight line. Both the communication with the owner and the staff, even if it's a low level staff, it should be direct. And another point is, I think staff engagement. Like, we don't have clients all the time, but we need to engage them, so we should understand how to schedule our day when there are weekdays, like week offs or whatever days are not good in business and all. They should be engaged in a way that they are learning something out of at that free time. That's really important. During that time, I think basic education related to beauty, hair, skin should be organized for them, and the kind of healthy discussion on their industry should be encouraged, so that they don't waste their time and talk anything which is not related to the industry. And I think, yeah, communication is extremely important. The leadership quality of the owner holds a lot of value. Leadership quality doesn't mean that you have to be very strong, or you have to be very dominating. It is leadership means you are very friendly, you understand them very well. Still, they come to you whenever there is any situation. So I think the trust factor, one line of communication, and staff engagement is extremely important.
Right. Qurat.
The major factors they've already said. What more to add?
So let's talk about education and upskilling. How important is that in trying to retain your staff?
Education, as I've previously told, that's the base. It has to be that way. But yes, there's one
Qurat,
thing.
sorry to interrupt you here, but before you go on with your answer, I want to understand from you, is it do the artists appreciate this opportunity that you are giving them to upskill themselves?
Good question. So honestly, I tell you, the stylist which we have for past so many years, they think they know it all. So they don't need the education. This is something very normally that happens.
Yeah.
Now the ones who are not very old, and obviously in the mid range, I would say, they are the ones who are very anticipated, and they are very much interested in what's new in the market. I want to learn. The problem is, what, the stylists are not educated. See, we all sitting over here, we come from a proper schooling and everything. Sadly, the only thing they learned was hairstyling, and many of them have inherited it from their fathers and their grandfathers. So now for them, educating a working class which is not qualified becomes a task. You have to go down to their level and make them understand that why a certain thing, a certain format of education, a pattern of presenting yourself, grooming, everything, why is it important? Only your skill is not important.
Yeah.
So education for is there, it has two perspectives from the stylist point of view. And when you have a certain stylist for past 10 years, he's giving you good business, definitely. But then at some point you need to educate him, yeah. And to convince him that he needs that education is a task at times.
Right.
making them understand, sitting down, having a chai with them, and then like, bhai, dekh, tere liye ye important hai, tu samajh. It has to be that way. You can't just for rest, I just have to say these are the people who needs to go for so and so course. They will agree. But with that kind of team and that mentality, oh my god, it's a task.
But do your I want you to answer this question as well. Do your staff understand that when you're offering them upskilling at your own expense, it's a perk for them? This is something they might not get elsewhere. Do they understand this?
Frankly speaking, majority don't feel
They don't,
Yeah,
right?
They don't. Now, probably the new gen of stylists, they do appreciate and they're like, okay, the salon is taking that expenditure and, sending us for so and so course. But the rest take it for granted. At least with my experience, it is that way.
Vandana.
I think soft skill training is extremely important because most of the times, of course, I understand where you're coming from, but we have to go to their level and we have to ensure that soft skills training is as important as their technical training, And unless and until we don't get, like if you see, if we go to any hotels, the way the staffs are trained, I think the same kind of atmosphere should be created in salons, and there should be a certain syllabus, for local salons. And I think if anybody needs help, they can always reach to the brands how they are doing soft skill training. But the owners should introduce this and they should mandate it, and it is good for them for the longer run. Of course, for the shorter run, they would feel uncomfortable. It is not our subject. But for the longer run, it is extremely important. It should be made mandate for them.
Right. Disha, we're talking about upskilling. So that's your forte.
I was just going to say she would be the right person to answer this.
Yes.
Before that, if I have the liberty, I would like to touch upon the topic that we just
Yes.
discussed before that also, and how do you ensure that your people are not poached? Or I think it has to be a top-down approach for me, right? That's how I always look at a problem, and it cascades from top to down, right? And I agree to whatever my colleagues have spoken here. I think the basic problem that I have seen it in 20 years is we look them upon as skilled laborers, and then we expect them to behave like management, So our expectations from there should be, if our expectations are very high, we should ensure that we also treat them equally, right? I know every salon owner speak to their staff, treat them well, have chai, coffee, take them out for outings, all of that. But then inculcate them, give them that kind of a respect, right? And I think the most important, and we have been hearing it everywhere, is people don't leave brands. They leave because of bad managers, right? So I think as a salon, everybody should, we are so strict with our staff that they at a point of time, because they are the one who are standing there. You and I are sitting behind the chair and, in an AC environment. They are the one who are working. They need to be treated well. And they need to be respected, and we need to understand that yes, they can get tired, they can have certain problems. But, because of our working conditions, we treat them not the same way I would treat my manager or my other salon staff, right? So that is one of the reasons why, because, because I have come with offline and online both experience, and I have I can very proudly say I've spoken to more than 50,000 professionals. This is the basic problem. They said, ma'am, pura din kaam karte hain, lekin koi respect nahi hai. I think something that all the salon owners should go back and think about it. That is one thing. Second is about upscaling. Definitely, I think I agree to what she's saying, because they come with a different background, but the hunger in them to learn is so high. And if we tell them why is it important to you, how is it going to make your life better, irrespective whether you're working with me or wherever you go. And I think that is where the base is. You have to make them understand कि आप ये सीखोगे, आपके client बढ़ेंगे, आपकी income बढ़ेगी. Maybe you have to pass on the same message in a little different way. Obviously, you have to work on them. And now the emphasis on soft skill has definitely grown, right? Because पहले तो चलता था, लेकिन अभी it is becoming very crucial. And I'm glad that salon owners have started talking about soft skilling. That's what I've been doing it, right? I think my first was only about, I think hard skill is very easy to learn, if you ask me. Very, very easy to learn. Soft skill is something that you have to inculcate, right? It has to come within you. That you're coming, you are in a service industry. This is how you have to treat. This is how you have to speak. This is how you have to behave, irrespective whether he's your client or somebody else's client. So I think that is a shift definitely I've seen, and I'm glad that the entire industry is now moving towards getting a skilled person. We are investing a lot in their training. Everybody is investing now. I think that is definitely a very healthy change that I have seen it in the past so many years, in 2 decades. And I'm glad, but it has to happen. That is no alternative to that, right? Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Disha, for bringing out these wonderful points. Vikas, what is your opinion about inculcating education and upskilling as a means to retain your staff?
See, I believe everyone's like education. Who doesn't like? Who doesn't want to upgrade themselves? It's probably the mindset of the people that they know everything. Could be because maybe you don't have an effective trainer who can teach them. Or maybe, they've not got the right opportunity or the skill set that they are looking to learn. But upskilling and, educating your staff will definitely help you as well as them in giving them that confidence that, yes, my organization cares for me. You are basically, showing empathy to them, making why people leave us because they don't connect with us. Maximum times they leave us because they're not acknowledged. If you're doing a good work for me and I'm not acknowledging that, no matter how much I pay you, you might just want to one day say, okay, you know what, I'm not happy. So a lot of people also leave because they're not appreciated where they are working, they're not acknowledged, they're not able to connect with the management or the boss. Or probably the boss is not accessible. Because there are a lot of hierarchies in between, you have to go through via. But when there is a strong connect between your team member and your boss, the chances of leaving that person is a little less because they will directly come to you with their problem, which you can obviously resolve the matter if you want to retain them. And education is something which is very much required for us. See, now the education is free. You can learn coding on YouTube. So nothing is hidden. It's no more a hidden knowledge. Everything is very easy. But we need to bring them to their notice that, educating yourself, how important it is for you to upgrade, because this will help you growing yourself personally. A lot of people might just think, they are sending me for training because they want me to scale up the business. But in a way, you're also helping that person to grow. They say, right, कि ज्ञान बांटने से बढ़ता है. आप जितना बांटोगे उतना बढ़ेगा. So there is no harm in sharing your knowledge, the skill set that you have, and you don't need to hide, because now everything is available online. There was a time where people used to hide cutting techniques, कि okay, ये नहीं सिखाएंगे, इतने कोर्स में इतना ही सिखाएंगे, इतने पैसे में इतना ही मिलेगा. But it's no more a hidden knowledge. It's an open book now. Everything is on social media. Everything is on YouTube. So there is no chance of hiding anything. The more you invest time and efforts in upgrading your team members, the more chances they will give you a good business and they will sustain with you for a longer time. And also, your goal of your organization has to be very clear. What are the skill sets required to achieve the goal? So this can definitely help you retaining your people and sustaining them for a long time.
All right. Thank you, Vikas. Rohan, circling back to you, like Qurat very succinctly put it, जाने वाले को कौन रोक सकता है और लोग जाकर वापस आते हैं, पर जब वो चले जाते हैं तब क्या करें? You don't have rightly trained staff. The person you have invested so much in has left you. What do you do then?
Fortunately for us, I mean, neither have we poached anybody nor anybody has been poached from our end. Am I audible, guys?
You
No.
can take the mic. It's more comfortable.
Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was just saying that we've been very fortunate that so far neither have we poached anybody nor anybody from our team has been poached. The idea remained the same. You know what I mean? Like that, the 3 points that I mentioned earlier, which probably summarize all that what they said, that a happy environment, well compensated team member, and a growth offered on the same time. Now, while all of this is being offered and And still, if you end up losing somebody, as an entrepreneur, I believe that everyone has the plan B, which means that in a team that you should have people at the same level who can substitute one another. There will be a hit, there will be a bump that you will face at the road. But I believe that, like, I mean, the next person will have to step up. You will have to step up to fill in the shoes in this scenario. It's not going to be overnight that another stylist will come in and replace those people. Also, maybe the kind of ethics and background that we probably come from. I do not want to kind of adulterate any situation outside in the market as well, and not have a wrong reputation. So we don't probably have the talent coming out of our academy and then procured. So from there onwards, it's much easier for us to sort of keep training people and bringing them up to the standard where I generally feel that, like, I do have another hand to fall back upon, as opposed to like, I mean, feeling absolutely alone in the dark right now. So it's important to have the plan B and the next one in line in ready all the time.
Right. Vandana, what is your plan B?
So whenever such situation happens, usually the owners don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know. They get to know. They get the staff would give 1 month notice, and later we get to know that our staff is working there and all. But we really don't have so much of time to understand why the person. We need to understand why the person is left, but we don't need to get into detail where that person is and how this happened and all that. Of course, whenever we have set of staff, we always have one additional staff. And within 1 month, it's easy to have another replacement. So it's a day-to-day job,
Right.
So there's a set of team to understand the situation.
And having your own academy also helps, because
Yeah,
you have
that-
people on the
yeah.
bench.
Yeah, correct.
Right.
And in one area, we have like 14 to 15 salons. So it is not that difficult to accommodate.
Okay, great. Qurat, what about you?
See, one reason, very major reason I just want to address why staff leaves is because they don't get the respect they deserve. This happens a lot with us is because we as owners or even our managers, just because they feel the managers or the HR or the zonal is senior to the stylist, it doesn't mean that you won't speak to them properly. See,
Yeah.
everybody deserve respects and they all are working 8 to 10 hours. So down the line, what happens is, what I notice is if they leave is either because I get to know that my manager was not treating them well. That is one major reason. And honestly, I feel we all need to respect each other, yeah.
Yes.
Whoever it is, even if it is the support staff of your salon. So my one reason for attention is that we really, we have that close connect with our staff, and our stylists have the liberty, our support staff also has the liberty that they can just drop a message to us if they are not comfortable with something. I always tell them, drop a message, likhne nahi aata hai, send me a voice note if there is something happening in the salon which I am not aware about. Get it to my notice, please. So they also know that they are being heard.
Yeah.
Very important. Because of the hierarchies, what happens is that, see, like just the client complains. What happens? It will go to the salon manager, then salon head, then it will go to the zonal, then it will go to the HR. By the time it comes to the salon owner, the client is really fed up and have stopped coming to you. It's too late.
Yeah.
So it has to come, everything has to come to you. Drop in an email, yeah, drop in a message. What's wrong in it? We'll read it, listen to it at some point. And to cover up the poaching when people are leaving one by one or whatever, I feel having an academy helps a lot. That's like your backing. And when you have too many branches taking care of, you cannot do it without an academy, for sure. If you have like more than 10, I feel you should have an academy by then. That even shuffling within the salon, it helps a lot. So that's one strong backing that you should have.
Right. Disha, I'll just quickly go to Vikas first, because he's the same train of thought.
Yeah.
So, yes, what do we do when people leave?
See, I think this is the case with everyone, and maximum people will be able to relate to me through this. That when we have invested a lot of time and efforts in training somebody, and then when that person has started giving result, that's the time where they leave.
They decide.
Right. So you can't stop people from leaving, but as I said earlier, when you have a little bit of connect with them, the chances of leaving is a little less. Plus, having a plan B or a C might not always work. Getting people from the academy also, the only hesitation that we have is that they are not trained enough at that moment to match the level of the previous stylist who left. The stylist could have a 10-year experience working with me. He knows all my skill sets. He knows how I work, my format, my SOPs. And that person left immediately when that person was at peak and started giving results. So that's the case with everyone. We all have faced that. And the maximum, the challenge that we have is retention of keeping our staff. No matter how hard you try, no matter you take them for outing, dinners, coffees, give them everything that they want, still there is a case जिसको नहीं रुकना है वो जाएगा ही जाएगा. But as a owner, the max that we can do is from our thing by, the first point is obviously people are working for you for money. So you need to match the industry standard, the financial aspiration of that person needs to be matched. So whatever the market standard is at that moment, whatever salary that person deserves has to be given or slightly par. So that person is financially satisfied at one level. But as I said earlier, money cannot buy everything. So you also need to work on the atmosphere, the culture of work. See, there was a generation when our grandfathers used to work for our standard of living. Now the people who are working for you, they already have a standard. They have Dish TV, they have Tata Sky already in their home. They're not working for money. Now they're coming to work because they want quality of work. Especially the Gen Zs, the new generation. Their father already has set standards of living. They don't need to pay rentals. They don't need to pay EMIs. That is being taken care by their family already. Now the Gen Zs, the reason why they leave is because of the atmosphere that they're not liking it. Or probably the flexibility of timing. It could be the flexibility of me taking an off tomorrow. It could be me stretching my working hours with them. A lot of people, salon owners think, अरे कम देके ज़्यादा करवा लो. But that's not the right strategy. आप किसी को कम देके ज़्यादा करवा लोगे, but it may not work for a long time. A lot of people also call them on for trainings on public holidays. The person is not mentally prepared to come to work on a public holiday. So you might be a little more generous, a little more flexible with them, where they get their comfort zone. Okay, my boss is emphasizing with me. He has empathy for me. He understands me. And he's a little more flexible with me. I can connect with them. And I can stay longer here because I'm getting what I want. Now, this is your emotional connect. One was your financial connect, where you financially secure them. Then you emotionally secure them. Now comes the career growth. What are the opportunities I'm getting to learn and grow? A lot of people say, oh, you don't take pictures. Don't take pictures of the client. Don't have an Instagram profile. Don't put your pictures on Instagram. Why? Meaning, I'm not very convinced with that strategy. Everything is digital. You want to see the format has to be you grow, I grow. You grow with me, I grow with you. When you have that connect emotionally with them, that is where they will also value you. They will also have that connect. Okay, this is the place where I'm getting what I want, my flexible hours, my financial need is meted, my emotional connect with my boss. Plus, I'm also learning. My boss sent me for seminars, workshops, training, PBI, shows, XYZ, photo shoots, film shoots, etc. That is where they see the growth happening. So one was your financial growth, your emotional connect with their staff, and the career growth is what I think can help the staff retain for a long time.
Okay, thank you, Vikas. Disha, both the ladies spoke about the middle management. So is there any training that can be given to the middle management so that the hierarchy works smoothly?
Absolutely. I think picking from where all my colleagues, whatever they have been talking about and what I have seen it in the industry, I understand that, all salons definitely have a plan B because that's how, otherwise you would not work, right?
Yeah.
But we have to understand nobody is indispensable, right? there is going to be somebody who's going to definitely leave for their better future, better opportunities, or something because they're moving some places or other. What we need to, as a salon owners and as you know, from somebody from the industry, I think we need to understand that we have to keep upgrading our next set of people. You know, what I have seen it over the years is people train their best professionals. That's it. And there is some kind of an insecurity. मैं इसको ज़्यादा सिखाऊंगी, ये छोड़ के चला जाएगा, दूसरे salon में चला जाएगा. I think we have to let go of that. I think छोड़ के जाएगा तो industry में जाएगा ना, industry standard ही बढ़ेंगे ना. So I think we have to take that with a pinch of salt कि भाई I am going to train irrespective whether that person is going to be with me or no. Ultimately, it's going to be within the industry. We have to accept that. कहाँ जाएगा? Within the industry, we are setting up the standard. Now, second, what to your point is, definitely there are various levels of training that's happening, right? Upscaling training is happening, refresher training is happening, retraining is happening, right? Managerial skills are happening, soft skills are happening, right? So HR policies are not only for corporates, right? And, to have a connect with your team, if you have 4 or 5 salons, it's easy. But what if you're a bigger corporate, right? Where you have more than 200 salons, 300 salons, not possible for the CEO to go and meet every staff of every salon, right? Hence, the policies comes into place, and there are various levels of training which are involved. That's what I keep saying, and that's what I've been doing it all these years. That you have to understand, yes, there is an onboarding training when they get in. There is a set of things that you train them, that as a salon, this is what we follow, this is what we practice, and that's how you get them into the system. That's where, after that is your refresher training. People who have done training in the past, who are there, not necessarily they have complaints coming, but there is always better to refresh their training. And this is where I think is a major gap. We don't invest in their training. The third is retraining. There are complaints who are coming in, or people who have done it in the past. Right now they wear a pedicurist, they have moved to a hairstylist. But multi-skill is the next thing, right? Everybody needs to know everything, basically. Of course, you master in something. So you keep them engaged. This is how but not necessarily कि आप उनको push करो. And the most important is your manager's training. I think nothing beats a manager's training. People skill, right? How you deal with people, how you treat them as human being, right? Ensuring, identifying the gaps, right? Again, the owner is not sitting there, right? The manager is there. He should understand what is my salon requirement, which is the service which I'm getting the most. Where is that I'm facing challenges? Who are the potential professionals that I can train them to? What is the kind of level of training is required? A manager needs to get engaged into all of these things rather than getting into politics, right? And that's where the person has to recommend, they have to be trained. And the salon owner comes in is only ensuring that they have been trained. I agree to what he's saying, people keep training because it is just by the way kind of a thing. कि कराना है तो कभी भी करा लो, छुट्टी के दिन करा लो, दोपहर में करा लो, शाम को लेट करा लो. Don't do trainings in your salon, guys. That's my biggest request, right? कभी भी मत कराओ, क्योंकि ये बहुत, and again I'm coming with my personal experience. जब ट्रेनिंग कराते हैं हम उनको बोलते हैं यार एक सर्विस आई है, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट क्लाइंट है, करा ले, ट्रेनिंग में से भी pull them out, right? And who are to be blamed? And then we said आपकी ट्रेनिंग तो कराई थी, but that person has never been there. Right? Because salon owners, for them, that ticket size is very important. For the manager, that target is very important. Daily target maintain karna. So we have to ensure there is a very strong line there. And that's why I recommend training A should never happen in the premises. B, it should be a fixed calendar. कि आज ये वाला टीम गया है, इसको ये ट्रेनिंग करानी जरूरी है, आती है नहीं आती, yes, that is another thing I think our senior professional feels कि हमको तो सब आता है, right? So that is the best way of putting them कि भाई करना ही पड़ेगा. This is a mandatory. We all go through, irrespective we have 10 years or 20 years or 30 years of experience. We keep upgrading ourselves. And again, very important, create a pipeline. Never ever depend on one person. Right? Even in bigger corporates, in management, we always have a pipeline next to it. Somebody that you can rely on, right? So, and that will only happen when you invest in their training again. Training is the right kind of training. Somebody is there, he's a senior hairstylist, senior salon person. There are 3-4 down the line. train all 4 of them. Does not matter. You are not investing. It's a return on investment that you're going to get. Think about that in the long term. It is not कि आज मैं इसको 10,000 क्यों spend करूँ, ये तो चली जाएगी क्या पता. It's okay. Right now, if everybody, all salon staff thinks like that, salon owners think like that, ultimately even the person who is coming to you will be trained by somebody else. So I think it's okay to invest in their training. Right?
Right. Thank you, Disha, for bringing out this point that training will give you ROI. So it's important to do that. Coming back to the salon owners on the panel, to safeguard yourself against staff leaving or poaching, how important are contracts?
So contracts are happening definitely in a lot of salons. That's there. And then what happens is the stylist is stuck to you for 3 years, 4 years. That is what the contracts are about. वो बेचारे तो पेपर पढ़ना भी नहीं जानते. Most of them, they just sign it up and they are like, okay, fine, I'm stuck with you for 3 years. But the thing is, somewhere down the line, I feel we are stopping their growth in one way. We need to be a little considerate, because we make them, like 3 years contract. There's a 3 year stuck up salary with that. And this is the business you have to do. There's a lot of terms and conditions that come with that package, of that contract thing. And then they can't go anywhere if they have the opportunity. I don't know. For some, it is good. For some, it is not. I just feel that it needs to be flexible. Do the contract, definitely, but it has to be in some way flexible, where after a year or 2 years, he just shouldn't do the service for you for the sake of it. कि contract है पूरा करना है तो रुक जाता हूँ, because then he's not going to be a productive employee for you, who's going to give you good business. He's just giving his attendance. It shouldn't be that way.
Vandana?
I think because salon industry is not a corporate sector and there is no education regarding contract. I think because you're not well educated, of course you'll have a fear of signing any contract. So currently it's too early for salon owners to have contract. It will take time unless and until education, soft skill trainings or basic education is not involved in the salon. I don't think it is feasible at the moment. Later on in future, if it's corporate sector, it is easy to understand, for them to understand the value of the contract.
Right. Rohan?
Well, I firmly believe that instead of having the contracts, or maybe have a contract, but lay down the career path for an individual, which what it does actually is that it doesn't show them the today's scenario. It kind of entice them or excite them for what's coming 2 years later, what's coming for them 5 years later, what's coming for them 10 years later, because they're working with you. Eventually what happens is that like everyone's goal ideally should be or would be is to bring in another entrepreneur. That's probably where everyone heads to go. So create an environment probably where they see that success or the growth is happening for them at a certain point in time, and just guide them or help them through the way to reach. If you're a fresher for the first year, after 2 years you'll become a stylist. 5 years later, senior stylist. 10 years later, maybe you could be my partner in another venture. So on and so on. So basically, giving them a career path in the form of a contract, which basically gives them an excitement and lead towards it. Having multiple verticals within the company has really helped us, because it's not just the salon, but probably there's a little bit of shoots happening. There's a lot of education happening. So as an artist, I think they get to explore all arenas completely, where they probably can work in the salon floor, where they could probably be out there working on a celebrity, on a shoot, or where they could be in the academy training somebody. Now, having experienced all of that, it has anyways have given them enough excitement to be a part of the industry, and now that leads them to a career path. Now, having career path mentioned in your contract basically kind of lock them in there and there, because these are the opportunities for me to grow in near future, and it will lead me to where I eventually want to be.
Right. Thank you, Rohan. Vikas, can we pass the mic, please?
You always come to me last when all the points are covered.
Because I know you always have something new to bring.
No, as he rightly said, why would I sign a contract when I don't see myself growing? So I don't have one. I have never gone into that things. But yes, I understand a lot of people have that strategy, which is very good because they, as business owners, want to keep themselves secure that my person, when I'm investing my time and efforts to this person, that person is not going to leave me for about 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, whatever it is, that given time of time. That's how where I will want to put my time and efforts in training that person to that level. If I'm sending him for a shoot with a celebrity, I need to be secure that he's going to not misuse my name for that purpose. So that contract binds them. As he rightly said, yes, when I'm signing a contract, I also want to see myself growing in the career financially as well as career growth. So what I see in that contract will only help me signing it one. Plus, maximum points are already covered, which is very appreciated. So once when there is a chain of salons and there are a number of employees working, for them it is necessary. But probably a salon owner who just has a one salon or two salon, I don't think that is required at the moment, because you are in one-on-one with the people that you're working. But yes, once you have a chain of salons, you need to have some boundaries, some legal formalities, whether you know that your name will not be misused and your person will stay with you for a longer time.
All right. Thank you, Vikas. And with that, we can have the audience Q&A. Any questions from the audience for the panel? किसी को कोई भी सवाल पूछना है, you can even ask in Hindi. Salon staff retention के लिए या salon staff training के लिए. Any questions? Yes, there's one here. Please introduce yourself.
Yeah. My name is Francis, and most of my questions you guys have already answered. So I had a question saying, what are the best type of benefits or incentive have worked for you for staff retention?
Can you repeat the question, sir?
What are the best type of benefits or incentives which have worked for you for staff retention?
So what has worked for you in retaining your staff?
Bro, nothing has worked for me till now. But yes, see, as we covered earlier, that when you emphasize with that person, you're financially securing your people. People who are working for you, whether you have one salon, two salon, three salon, doesn't matter. They are financially stable. They know the money that I'm earning. Everybody is in a way working for money. They are financially secure is what keeps them a little, motivated. When they're going to work, they don't want to think about money. They want to think about work. As a salon owner, you don't want your people to think about money when they come to work. You want them to think about work when they come to work, right? So keep them financially happy, emphasize with them, keep a strong connect with your employees, put a little bit of efforts in training, upgrading your staff skill set, and try to resolve their problem. A lot of people, they don't even know why they're working. They don't even know what is the 5-year plan. So try to conversate with them where you can know that you have an emotional connect with your people, where you know, okay, this person needs this thing. Some people work for money, some people work for comfort, some people work for growth. So depending on the culture of your salon, you can have a strong connect with them, which can help you retaining your people for a long term, which we all are trying since years. But yeah, there is no whole program. We all are trying, but we are still trying.
So what we do is we try to promote our staff who are really good and who wants to go ahead with their growth. We encourage them to participate in contests, even hair contest or skin or beauty. So it helps them to boost their career. They feel confident about it, and certain incentives, non-monetary incentives, rewards, acknowledgements. These are the basic things which are done by everyone from time to time. But that doesn't assure anything that they're going to stay. But we did our part. That is more important.
So I had another question actually. Now, staff retention, when it comes to that, poaching is not the one thing which staff goes. there are staff internal conflicts, as it's a skill based. Most of the staff is skilled, so they think that they know better than the other person. So how do you manage the internal conflict between the staff?
So I think one line of communication is very important. In single salons or in an individual salon, there should not be any hierarchy. Every individual staff is as equally important as another one, and even the owner is should not behave particularly differently to one particular staff. So line of communication is extremely important, so that whatever grievances they have, they are ready to speak, or they are ready to communicate about it.
And the last question for the panel. Now, this is a Gen Z kind of environment which is coming up, and job hopping has become a trendy thing where people just try to rack up. I've worked here, I have worked there, I've worked there. How do we educate on that part to the staff? How do we get this point across?
Gen Z in the workforce.
So I feel what you need to do is set them examples. You must be having team. If you are an old salon, okay, if you're an old salon, what you have to do is, like, I have my team where I have their sons coming and becoming stylists now in my salon, and they've been assisting their father. So they have seen their father's growth, like from where they were, from a master stylist to a creative stylist, and what all benefits they are getting. So you need to paint that picture to them. It's very important. Similarly, as people over here, we just mentioned that even if we get into contract, you need to show them their growth, right? So that's what you need to do to convince the Gen Z, to make them understand, to get into their thought process, that if you stay here, this is what I am going to give you, and this is what your future can be. So everybody is interested in a good future. If they see no future with your brand, nobody's going to stick to you.
I feel the salon industry has gone from one level to another level in India, and the growth is huge. When you talk about Gen Z, as he said, that the families are well settled, they don't need any kind of monetary benefits and all. But yeah, they are into this industry for only one thing, that is creativity, and second is recognition. With time, this industry has become like one form of Bollywood industry. So they see things, here and there. So that is also one factor that they want to be creative. They want to join this creative line. So there are certain non-monetary benefits. We have to understand that why they have joined, and we should help them in that issues, right?
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for your questions. And with that, we bring this panel to an end. Can we have a big round of applause for our speakers today? It's been a wonderful session with all of them. I request them to step forward for photo op and my mementos. Andrea, can I please request you to hand over the mementos? Jay, can you please help me?
Fresh from 1605.